There's a voice in your head right now telling you this video won't help, that you should just scroll past. That voice? It's the same one that's been keeping you stuck. Today we silence it. Because what I'm about to share isn't just another self-help concept. It's the quantum truth about why you keep recreating the same reality over and over, even when you desperately want something different. Right now, there's an invisible burden you're carrying. It's not in your hands or on your shoulders. It's woven into the very fabric of who you think you are. This burden is your old identity, the collection of thoughts that loop endlessly through your mind, the emotional patterns you can't seem to break, the past experiences you won't let go of. As long as this invisible weight stays with you, your reality remains frozen. The same situations keep appearing. The same disappointments keep arriving. The same limitations keep showing up dressed in different costumes. This burden rarely shows itself physically. It's completely invisible to others. A silent weight you've been carrying for years, maybe decades. But you feel it in that tightness in your chest when you wake up, in that inner voice that whispers, "Don't expect too much." In those patterns you swear you'll break, but somehow keep repeating. It's woven into your automatic responses, your body chemistry, your tiniest daily choices. This isn't just your history. It's a frequency you're broadcasting, like a song stuck on repeat. Your old self keeps playing the same tune while your dreams remain on pause. Here's the truth most people never discover. You cannot step into your new reality while staying loyal to your old energy signature. Most people completely miss this. They try to create change through new thoughts, through visualization, through goal setting. But underneath it all, they remain exactly the same person, still waking up with the same emotional chemistry, still carrying the same story, still waiting for the outside world to change while they broadcast at yesterday's frequency. Let me be completely honest with you. That identity, your old version, was built for one thing: survival. It formed during difficult times as a response to being hurt, to failing, to being disappointed. You never consciously chose it. It was an automatic reaction, a protective armor, a mask you wore for safety. Over time, that mask became so comfortable you forgot it was a mask. Now it feels like your true self. But here's the question. What if it's not? What if that inner critic telling you you're not ready or it's too risky isn't the truth? It's just the echo of a version of you that you haven't let go of yet. Quantum physics shows us something revolutionary. Our reality doesn't exist separately from us. It reflects back the consciousness that's observing it, your energetic state. You aren't separate from the quantum field. You are the quantum field expressed in physical form. So every time you wake up and step into that old identity, what does the universe deliver? The same patterns. Not because you're cursed, not because your method is wrong, but because the universe respects consistency and you are its tuning fork. You don't manifest what you want, you manifest what you are. This is why the work isn't about building a new identity. It's about releasing everything that isn't truly you. Your old self wants to keep you safe, but safety isn't what your soul came here for. Staying stuck isn't your destiny. That heavy identity you've been carrying, the one created through pain, rejection, failure, or dismissal, isn't the version meant to experience the reality you've glimpsed in your highest moments. That beautiful reality exists right now, and it exists now, not in some distant future, but in a different frequency, in a vibration you align with rather than chase. But here's the difficult truth. You cannot reach that frequency while emotionally attached to your past. You can't keep recycling guilt, anger, or self-doubt and expect expansion. You can't show up as yesterday's version of yourself and access a timeline you've never experienced. So what do we do in this journey? We're going to break this pattern. We're going to meet the old self, not to judge it, but to release it. We'll honor what it taught us, then give it permission to leave. Together, we'll enter the quantum field, not through words, but through energetic alignment. And I'll guide you in releasing the energetic blueprint of yesterday so you can finally step into the version of you who already lives the reality you've been asking for. Because the universe isn't asking for more effort from you. It's waiting for you to vibrate differently. You aren't stuck because your dream isn't real. You're stuck because your identity keeps creating the same circumstances over and over. But once you change that, once you release the weight, the pain, the labels, you'll see something incredible. Reality will reshape itself. Your world will reorganize. The quantum field will respond. Not because of your words, but because of who you've become. Take a deep breath. Something is already shifting, and it isn't coming from outside. It's rising from within you. Are you ready to meet the version of yourself that's already free? Let's begin. Before we dive deeper, if you're feeling this shift already beginning, hit the like button right now. This simple action creates a quantum agreement between you and this transmission. When you like this video, you're not just supporting the content. You're sending a signal to the algorithm of the universe that you're ready for transformation. That small click becomes a vibrational vote for your new reality. If this resonates with you, type "I am ready" in the comments below. Let these two powerful words serve as your declaration to the quantum field that you're done waiting and ready to transform. You wake up, same room, same thoughts, same inner conversation flowing through your mind before you're even fully awake. Maybe today will be different, you might think. But the moment your feet hit the floor, your body has already decided otherwise. Why? Because long before your conscious mind starts planning, your unconscious identity has taken charge. You don't start a new day. You start the same self over and over. Your body stores memory. It remembers who you are not as memories, but as cellular programming. Emotions become chemical patterns. Behaviors become automatic. Eventually, you stop responding to the present moment. You just replay yesterday endlessly until today feels stuck and begins looking like an endless loop. Dr. Joe Dispenza tells us that by the time you're 35, 95% of who you are consists of memorized behaviors, emotional reactions, unconscious habits, hardwired attitudes, beliefs, and perceptions. In other words, most of what you think is you isn't really you. It's programming, it's conditioning, it's the old self, and it's running the show. Bruce Lipton goes even further. The moment you change your perception is the moment you rewrite your body's chemistry. This means your chemical state, your emotional state, your energetic state is literally writing the reality you're living. This is why change feels so difficult, because you're not just trying to change your thoughts. You're trying to break your body's emotional addiction to being a specific version of yourself. The version that expects disappointment, that prepares for rejection, that doesn't believe they deserve big things. Not because they're broken, but because at some point they decided it was safer to expect less. You didn't choose this reality, but somewhere along the way, your system decided that pain was predictable, and predictability feels safe even when it hurts. This becomes the real prison. Not your circumstances, but the identity you're afraid to release. Even when it's making you sick. Even when it's stealing your joy. Even when you know deep down it's not who you really are. So let me ask you with compassion, not judgment. What emotions do you feel most often? Is it regret, anger, shame, doubt, fear? What if these emotions aren't random? What if they're rehearsed? What if your body has become addicted to these chemicals because they reinforce the identity of your old self? And if that's true, what kind of reality do you think that emotional broadcast is attracting? Here's the truth most people never confront. Your old self isn't just a memory, it's an energetic magnet. And the quantum field responds not to your affirmations, not to your vision boards, but to the emotional frequency you broadcast consistently. You might say you want love, but if your baseline is, "I'm not enough," you will repel intimacy. You might visualize abundance, but if your emotional baseline is worry, you will unconsciously block opportunities. Not because you're unworthy, but because your nervous system hasn't upgraded to the version of you that's ready to receive. This is why you can read every book, attend every seminar, repeat every affirmation, and still feel stuck. Because change isn't just mental, it's vibrational, cellular, molecular. So what comes next? First, we shine light on this pattern not to judge it, but to see it. To recognize that who you've been isn't a fixed truth. It's a practiced frequency, one you can stop practicing the moment you choose to stop identifying with it. This isn't about self-rejection. This is about self-liberation, about giving yourself permission to stop carrying the weight of a version of you that only existed to survive a version of the world that's already gone. Here's the beautiful paradox. The moment you start observing your old self without becoming it, when you witness it through the eyes of your higher self, you become the observer. And in quantum terms, this changes everything. The observer collapses the wave of possibility. The moment you see your old self as a pattern, you are no longer that pattern. You become the awareness watching the pattern. And that awareness is the first ray of light in a completely new reality. If you're feeling this shift, write observer in the comments. This single word anchors your new identity as the one who watches without becoming, who witnesses without attachment. But let's explore what's actually happening in your brain during this shift. Neuroscience reveals that when you observe your thoughts and emotions without identifying with them, you activate your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for higher thinking and conscious choice. At the same time, you begin to calm the amygdala, which handles fear-based reactions and survival responses. This neurological shift is measurable. Studies using brain imaging show that people who practice observer awareness literally rewire their neural pathways within weeks. The neural pathways connected to your old identity begin to weaken from lack of use, while new pathways connected to your elevated identity strengthen through repetition. This is why ancient meditation practices emphasized witnessing consciousness. They understood without modern technology that observing your thoughts without becoming them creates actual structural changes in your brain. They knew that consciousness observing itself is the mechanism through which transformation happens. What's even more amazing is that this observer awareness doesn't just change your brain, it changes your entire nervous system. Your autonomic nervous system, which controls functions like heart rate, breathing, and digestion, begins to shift from sympathetic dominance, fight or flight, to parasympathetic dominance, rest and digest. This shift allows your body to access states of coherence, creativity, and healing that are impossible when you're trapped in survival mode. We've been taught to ask, to believe, to visualize. But so many of us remain waiting for the breakthrough, for abundance, for the right person, for the change to finally happen. And when it doesn't come, we blame ourselves. We wonder if our technique is wrong, if we're energetically blocked, if maybe we're not meant for more. But what if the problem isn't that your dream is too big, but that your frequency remains too familiar? Here's what most manifestation techniques miss. The quantum field doesn't respond to your words. It doesn't react to your vision boards. It doesn't even register what you say you want. It reflects only one thing: your state of being. This is the law of energetic coherence. In quantum terms, coherence happens when your heart, mind, emotions, and actions are completely aligned. It's the energetic agreement the universe waits for, not the kind of agreement you write about or say once each morning, but the kind that is lived, felt, experienced, sustained. You cannot override your frequency with manifestation tricks. The field doesn't hear, "I want abundance." It hears, "I feel lacking," if that's your daily emotional state. It doesn't see your dream house if you're living in fear. It doesn't recognize your desire for love if your emotional home is loneliness, jealousy, or unworthiness. Not because the field is cruel, but because it is accurate. Think of the quantum field as a mirror. You don't raise your hand and expect the reflection to raise the opposite hand. You must actually change for the reflection to change. The problem is, most of us try to manifest from our current identity. We use the mindset of our present self to try reaching a timeline that belongs to an entirely different version of us. But your future self, the one living the life you want, doesn't just think differently. They exist differently. They feel differently. They enter rooms differently. They speak from a different place. They've moved from wanting to being. Let's look at this more scientifically. Every thought you think sends out an electrical signal. Every emotion you feel radiates magnetically. Together, your thoughts and emotions create a vibrational broadcast, like a radio signal constantly transmitting a message to the quantum field. And that message isn't what you want, it's who you are. But here's what most people don't realize about this process. Your brain operates at specific frequencies measured in hertz. When you're in fear, doubt, or worry, you're literally broadcasting in the lower frequency ranges, what neuroscientists call beta and high beta waves. Beta waves typically range from 13 to 30 hertz, and when you're stressed or anxious, you can spike into high beta frequencies above 30 hertz. In these states, your brain is fragmented, jumping from thought to thought, creating electrical chaos that extends beyond your skull. These frequencies create a chaotic electromagnetic field around you that actually repels the experiences you're trying to attract. It's like trying to tune into a beautiful music station while your receiver is stuck on static. The signal you want is there, but the noise of your fear-based frequency makes it impossible to receive clearly. Now contrast this with alpha waves, which oscillate between 8 to 12 hertz when you're relaxed and present, or theta waves at 4 to 7 hertz when you're in deep meditation or creativity. These slower, more organized frequencies create a coherent electromagnetic field that actually attracts synchronicities and opportunities. It's the difference between throwing a stone into choppy water versus a still pond. One creates chaos, the other creates perfect, expanding circles of influence. Your heart, on the other hand, generates an electromagnetic field that's 60 times greater in amplitude than your brain and extends several feet beyond your body. Scientists have measured this field extending up to 8 feet from the physical body, though some research suggests it may extend even further. When your heart is in a state of appreciation, love, or gratitude, it creates what the HeartMath Institute calls coherent heart rhythms. organized, smooth, sine wave-like patterns that look like perfect ocean waves on monitoring equipment. This coherence literally changes the information your electromagnetic field is broadcasting to everyone and everything around you. When your heart achieves this coherent state, it actually entrains your brain, pulling those chaotic beta waves into more organized alpha and theta states. Your heart becomes the conductor of your body's electromagnetic orchestra, bringing every system into harmony. Research has shown that when people enter heart coherence, not only does their own physiology optimize, lowering stress hormones, boosting immune function, improving cognitive performance, but they also influence the electromagnetic fields of people around them. In studies where people were placed in the same room, one person's coherent heart rhythm could be detected in another person's brainwaves, even without physical contact or verbal communication. Think about this for a moment. You are not just a physical body moving through space. You are a walking, breathing, electromagnetic transmitter, constantly influencing the quantum field through the quality of your thoughts and emotions. Your electromagnetic signature precedes you into every room, every conversation, every interaction. Before you speak a word, before you make eye contact, your field has already announced who you are in this moment. Every person you meet, every opportunity that appears or doesn't, every synchronicity you experience is responding to this electromagnetic signature you're carrying. Animals sense it instinctively. That's why dogs seem to know who's afraid of them, or why horses respond to a calm, confident presence. Children feel it naturally before they're taught to ignore these subtle sensations. And whether we're conscious of it or not, every adult is reading and responding to these electromagnetic signals constantly. This is why two people can walk into the exact same room with the same opportunities available and have completely different experiences. One person's electromagnetic field is broadcasting, "I am open, I am worthy, I am aligned," through coherent heart rhythms and organized brainwaves, while the other is unconsciously transmitting, "I am closed, I am not enough, I am disconnected," through chaotic frequencies and stress patterns. The quantum field responds to both exactly as they are, not as they wish they were. It's not personal. It's physics. Your electromagnetic broadcast determines what you can perceive, what you attract, and what possibilities collapse into your reality from the infinite field of potential. Type coherent below if you're ready to align your electromagnetic signature with your desires. Let this word signal your commitment to broadcasting a new frequency. One of the most profound discoveries from Heisenberg in the observer effect is this: the act of observation collapses possibility into reality. But here's the twist. It's not just that you observe reality. It's that who you are while observing determines what manifests. Think about what this actually means. In quantum experiments, particles exist in what's called superposition. They're in all possible states simultaneously until observed. The moment observation happens, all those infinite possibilities collapse into one specific reality. But science has discovered something even more remarkable. The quality of observation, the state of the observer, influences which possibility becomes real. This isn't mystical thinking. It's documented quantum mechanics. The consciousness doing the observing isn't separate from what's being observed. They're entangled, connected, inseparable. Your state of being while observing literally influences which version of reality crystallizes from the field of infinite potential. Neville Goddard said it perfectly. You are not manifesting, you are selecting, and who you're being is the selector. Let that sink in. You are not attracting a future. You are tuning into one, choosing it, aligning with it. Among infinite parallel realities all existing right now in the quantum field, you're selecting which one to experience based on your vibrational state. It's like having infinite radio stations broadcasting simultaneously, but you can only hear the one you're tuned to. But here's the crucial part. You can't align with something your current self has never felt. You can't tune into a frequency you've never experienced. If you've never felt truly abundant, you can't select the reality where abundance is natural. If you've never felt deeply loved and worthy, you can't tune into the timeline where love flows effortlessly to you. That's why the change is internal. You become the version of you that naturally attracts what you've been trying to chase. You don't pull things toward you through force or will. You rise to meet them. You elevate your frequency to match the reality you desire. And suddenly you can perceive opportunities that were always there but invisible to your old frequency. This is why manifestation without identity change will always feel like pushing a boulder uphill. You're trying to build a future on the foundation of an outdated self. And no matter how beautiful the blueprint is, if the foundation hasn't changed, the structure will collapse. Imagine trying to run advanced software on an old operating system. It simply won't work. The new reality you're trying to manifest requires a new version of you to run it. You need an identity upgrade to support the life upgrade. Otherwise, even if you temporarily achieve what you want, you'll unconsciously sabotage it because your internal operating system isn't equipped to maintain it. The observer effect teaches us that consciousness and reality are not separate. Who you are being in each moment is actively selecting which possibility becomes your experience. Change the observer, and you change what's observed. Become someone new, and reality has no choice but to reflect that newness back to you. Share new self in the comments if you're choosing to release your old identity right now. These two words mark the moment you stop being who you were and start being who you are. There is a version of you who already vibrates at the frequency of everything you've ever asked for. Not a future version, not a theoretical possibility, a very real, very alive self that exists right now in the quantum field. And the only thing separating you from that version is your vibrational state. This might sound radical, but quantum physics has been showing us for decades. Reality is not linear. Time is not fixed. You are not moving down a straight path from point A to point B, slowly building toward a future self. Einstein showed us that time is relative, that past, present, and future all exist simultaneously in what physicists call the block universe. Quantum mechanics takes this even further, revealing that all possible versions of events exist in superposition until consciousness observes and selects one into experience. What actually exists is an infinite, unlimited field of now moments, all happening simultaneously, all accessible based on what you tune into. Every choice you could make, every path you could take, every version of you that could exist, they're all real, all alive, all happening in parallel dimensions of possibility. In quantum terms, we call this the multiverse or the many worlds interpretation. In spiritual terms, we call this infinite possibility. Either way, the message remains the same. The you who is thriving, healed, empowered, magnetic is not coming. They are already here in a different frequency, a different vibrational signature, a different state of being. This version of you isn't waiting in some distant tomorrow. They exist now, breathing in a parallel reality where they made different choices, healed different wounds, believed different truths about themselves. They're living right now in a timeline where abundance is natural, where love is easy, where success is inevitable. Not because they're lucky, but because they vibrate at the frequency where those experiences are the only logical outcome. Consider this. Every time you make a decision, quantum physics suggests reality splits. One version of you chooses fear, another chooses love. One stays small, another expands. These aren't just theoretical possibilities. According to quantum mechanics, they're all equally real. The only difference is which one you're experiencing based on your consciousness, your observation, your vibrational alignment. Your elevated self, the one living your dream life, hasn't achieved something you haven't. They've simply maintained a different vibrational state consistently enough that their reality reorganized around that frequency. They chose differently, felt differently, believed differently, and reality responded accordingly. The incredible news is that because time isn't linear, you don't have to wait years to become this version of yourself. You don't have to slowly crawl toward them through sequential time. You can shift your frequency now and begin experiencing their reality immediately. Not fully at first. Reality has momentum and takes time to reorganize. But you can start feeling their confidence, their peace, their certainty right now. This is the quantum leap. Not moving faster through time, but jumping timelines entirely by changing your vibrational state. Comment "quantum leap" if you're ready to jump timelines today. Let these words be your vibrational signature that you're no longer crawling toward change. You're leaping into it. But let's pause here because this isn't just theoretical. This is deeply practical. So ask yourself, if your highest self were already living through you, what would they think? How would they feel? How would they move through the world? Your higher self vibrates from trust, from alignment, from grounded confidence and peaceful magnetism. They don't manifest through force. They attract through coherence. Their energy speaks before they do, and everything in their reality, from relationships to health to purpose, responds accordingly. Because here's a truth most people miss. The universe doesn't rearrange itself because you deserve it. It rearranges because you're resonant. And resonance is not something you beg for. It's something you embody. That's why the most powerful change you can make today isn't external. It's internal. It's choosing to stop identifying with the old story and start aligning with the new one. Not because it's already here physically, but because you've decided to meet it vibrationally. You step forward first, then the path appears. So let's go deeper. Take a moment and close your eyes. Picture yourself walking into a room. The version of you who already has the life you want is there. Feel their energy, not as something far away or magical, but as someone familiar. Because they are you. They've always been you, just waiting for you to remember. Notice how they hold themselves, the ease in their shoulders, the light in their eyes, the confidence in their voice. They don't need to convince anyone. They radiate truth. They've let go of the weight. They've released the old programming. They've dissolved the version of themselves that was built on fear, and in its place, they've allowed a new identity to emerge. Now ask them, what did they release to become this free? Because the new self is not built by adding more. It's revealed by removing, by peeling away layers of conditioning, hurt, and pretense until all that remains is essence, soul, truth, alignment. This is the transformation. You are not becoming something. You are remembering something. You are not building a new reality. You are tuning into one that already exists. And here's where it becomes magical. The moment you do, the moment you stop identifying with the old frequency and start vibrating as the new self, the field responds. Gently at first. A thought you've never had before. A person reaching out unexpectedly. an intuitive pull toward something your old self would have ignored. The more you follow that flow, the more the new timeline stabilizes. You begin to notice synchronicities, coincidences, doors opening, because you're no longer on the frequency of resistance. You're on the frequency of receiving. Phase 1. Recognize the old self. You can't release what you don't see. So give your old identity a name. It could be a word, a title, a symbol, something that captures who you've been. The you that's been cycling through fear, doubt, limitation. Maybe it's the worrier, the people pleaser, the one who settles. Whatever name comes intuitively, claim it. Now speak to that identity. Thank it. It kept you alive. It helped you survive. But it's not the one who will take you forward. Phase 2. The release ceremony. Picture yourself carrying that version of you like a heavy backpack, like luggage filled with memories, stories, patterns, and now see yourself stopping, taking it off, setting it down. You don't need to destroy it. You simply need to leave it behind. Picture yourself walking away, lighter, taller, clearer. You've released the energy that kept you stuck, and in doing so, you've created space in the field for a new frequency to emerge. Phase 3. Step into the new self. Who are you now? Feel it in this moment. Stand or sit in the posture of the version of you who already lives in alignment. The one who trusts their intuition. The one who radiates calm. The one who no longer needs to chase because they are what they once sought. How would they breathe? How would they speak? How would they look at challenges? Shift into that version now. Phase 4. Anchor with declaration. Repeat these words, not mechanically, but with presence, with embodiment, with choice. I no longer create from the past. I align with who I truly am. Again, I no longer create from the past. I align with who I truly am. Seal this transformation by typing aligned below. This word becomes your energetic commitment to the universe that you've released the past and stepped into your true frequency. Let those words be a frequency, not just a statement. Let them cut through the old signal. Let them vibrate in your cells. You're not just saying them, you're becoming them. Because every cell in your body, every atom in your being is listening. And more importantly, so is the field. As you vibrate as the new self, the field begins to rearrange. Possibilities that were once invisible begin to appear. People who match your new energy begin to show up. Your outer world doesn't change because you demanded it. It changes because you became someone new. You are now walking in alignment. And that alignment is your new reality. Here's the final piece. This ceremony is not just a one-time event. It's a doorway, a frequency you return to every time the old self tries to come back, because it will. Not to hurt you, but to be witnessed, to be reminded that you've moved beyond it. And each time you choose the new over the old, you strengthen your new identity. This is where most people struggle, and why maintaining your new identity requires understanding and patience. Your old self isn't trying to sabotage you when it resurfaces. It's simply following the neural pathways that have been carved deep through years of repetition. Think of it like a river that has been flowing in the same direction for decades. Even when you redirect the water, it will naturally want to flow back into the familiar channel until the new path becomes deeper and more established. When old emotions arise, and they will, remember that this is your nervous system releasing stored energy from the past. These emotional releases are actually signs that the transformation is working. Your body is literally detoxing from the chemical addiction it had to being your former self. During these moments, The key is not to resist or judge what's coming up, but to observe it with compassion. Say to yourself, "This is just energy moving through me. This is not who I am now. This is my system clearing out the old to make space for the new." This acknowledgement alone helps the energy move through you more quickly instead of getting stuck in resistance. If you're committed to maintaining this new frequency, subscribe to this channel now. Subscribing isn't just following content, it's creating an energetic tether to this transformational frequency. Each time a new transmission appears in your field, it serves as a quantum reminder of who you're becoming. Hit subscribe and the bell icon to stay connected to this vibrational stream. Some days will feel more challenging than others. You might wake up feeling like your old self has returned completely. This is normal and temporary. These are what we might call integration days. Days when your consciousness is integrating the new identity more deeply into your cellular structure. On these days, be extra gentle with yourself and consciously choose actions that align with your new identity, even if you don't feel like it. So here's your practice. Every morning, before the world rushes in, ask yourself, which version of me will create reality today? And choose consciously, lovingly, powerfully. Because when you do, you're not just changing your life, you're changing timelines. And the ripple of that choice moves through the quantum field like a wave, reshaping what's possible, not just for you, but for every life you touch. You've reset your identity. You've released the past. You've entered the field as someone new. When you finally let go of who you were, reality begins to rearrange itself around who you truly are. Not someday, not after months of work, but now, in this moment. Because the shift doesn't begin when the world changes. It begins when you change. And maybe for the first time in a long time, you're feeling it. That lightness, that strange mixture of calm and possibility, that inner knowing that says something has shifted. That's not your imagination. That's the field responding. Reality has always been more flexible than we were taught. Not fixed, not rigid, but fluid, dynamic, alive, and waiting. Not for you to chase it, but for you to tune into it. This is how quantum manifestation actually works. You don't drag your future towards you. You rise to meet it. You become the frequency of the life you desire. And the external world, by universal law, must conform. Not because it's magic, but because it's physics. Because your vibration is the blueprint of your reality. And when your vibration changes, your life cannot stay the same. Look around. Nothing may look different yet, but you are. And that alone changes everything. Because from this point forward, every thought you choose, every emotion you embody, every belief you reinforce is either aligning you with your expanded timeline or pulling you back into the past. And you've already made your choice. So now the real practice begins. Not in theory, but in life. When an old emotion surfaces, you'll remember, this is not me. This is residue. When an old pattern tries to play out, you'll pause and say, I no longer create from that version of me. When fear whispers, you'll respond with presence. When doubt returns, you'll breathe deeper. You'll speak gentler. You'll act from a place the old self never had access to. You are no longer broadcasting the past. You've changed your signal, and that change has consequences. Beautiful, unimaginable, soul-expanding consequences. Some you'll see immediately. Unexpected clarity, elevated synchronicities, people responding to you differently. Others will be more subtle but just as real. A sudden sense of alignment, ideas that flow effortlessly, moments of perfect timing that confirm you're finally walking with your true self. The observer effect is now working through you. Every moment you observe from this new identity, you collapse new possibilities into your reality. You're not just watching your life unfold. You're actively selecting which version of reality materializes through the quality of your observation, through the frequency you maintain while witnessing your world. This is why ancient wisdom traditions spoke of dying before you die or killing the ego. They understood that to birth the new self, the old must be consciously released, not destroyed with force, but thanked and gently dissolved. You've just performed this sacred death and rebirth, not as metaphor, but as quantum mechanics. The old you has completed its purpose. The new you is already writing the next chapter. And reality? It's listening. You are not alone in this. You are part of a field of beings awakening to their quantum nature. And now that you've remembered, you can't forget. The universe doesn't reorganize itself because you're deserving. It reorganizes because you're resonant. And resonance is not something you plead for. It's something you embody. From this moment forward, you're not trying to become someone new. You're allowing who you've always been to finally emerge. You're not building a future. You're aligning with one that already exists, waiting for you to match its frequency. Every morning when you wake up, you have a choice. Will you step back into the old identity, the one built on fear and limitation? Or will you consciously choose to embody the version of you that already lives in alignment with your dreams? The quantum field doesn't care about your past. It only responds to your present state of being. And right now, in this moment, you are broadcasting a new signal. You are vibrating at a new frequency. You are collapsing new possibilities into form. If this transmission has shifted something within you, seal this transformation with a final action. Hit the like button if you haven't already. This sends a ripple through the quantum field, confirming to the universe that you've received this activation. Every like becomes part of the collective energy, raising the frequency for everyone who finds this message. This is your quantum transformation, not tomorrow, not when circumstances change, but right now, in this eternal moment where all possibilities exist. Welcome to your new timeline. Welcome to the version of you that's always existed, just waiting for you to remember. Welcome home. This message found you for a reason, and there's someone in your life who needs it too. Share this transmission with one person today, someone you sense is ready for this shift. When we share transformational frequencies, we create a quantum network of awakening souls. Your share becomes a sacred act, extending this energetic activation to those ready to receive it. Together, we're not just changing individual lives, we're shifting the collective frequency of humanity.